prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we are truly grateful for your love to us, grateful for the day that you have given each of us. We pray, Lord, that we have used it as you would want us to. And I pray, Lord, that we have done our best to do that. Lord, thank you for tonight and for this meeting. I pray, Lord, that you bless the discussion. May we have good ideas. May we have things that maybe we've not even thought about as projects for this town. Thank you, Lord, for blessing this town, for giving us the revenues that we might be able to do this. We pray, Lord, that everything that we do brings you honor, for we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. All right, I'm going to ask our Miss Pyre Wilson is out. I think she has a sick family member, and we want to remember her. And I think her mom might be sick, so we need to think about her. But Jay LaShawne's going to do a roll call for us.
Town of Vidalia Board of Aldermen roll call for a special meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen dated August 15th, 2022. Alderman Betts.
Present.
Alderwoman Denby.
Present.
Alderman Gardner.
Here.
Alderman Probst. Alderman Probst is noted to be absent at this time. Alderman Smith.
Here.
Mayor, let the record show a quorum of the board's present.
Okay. Before we get started, I would like to just go ahead and just tell everyone, just to update everybody on what the ordinance says in relation to the hydro surplus. Please understand, this is not going to affect your rebate. This year, we're going to rebate 50% of whatever your electricity bill was, you will get back in a check. Okay, and those usually, we try to get those out somewhere close to the 1st of November. I think last year they were somewhere in that vicinity. I see Deborah's grimacing out there. We had to pull together a lot of information based on usage and stuff. But anyway, this will not affect anybody's rebate on their hydro money. So that's a good thing. This is surplus funds. And I was going to just say what that says. And it's item 7. It's ordinance 588 for the town of Vidalia. And item number 7, everything prior to this, the town has hit all the things that's required of this to do. And there's a list of things the town has to do before you can disperse these surplus funds. And item number 7 says, revenue not expended as previously stated shall be considered surplus revenue and may be used for any lawful corporate purpose after satisfying the following conditions. A, the mayor and board of aldermen shall annually compile a schedule of projects on which these surplus revenues are proposed to be expended. A summary of these projects shall be published and the public notified that details are available for public inspection. At the same time, a minimum of 2 public hearings shall be called to discuss the proposed projects and receive public input concerning possible alternative uses of surplus revenues. And then item B says, after holding the required public hearings and given due consideration of public input, the Board of Aldermen shall approve the expenditures of surplus revenues for projects deemed to be in the best public interest. So that's where this is addressed, okay? So it does say, now, just for a matter of order, this is going to start with the alderman, myself and the alderman. We're going to discuss projects that we might have. I was going to go first, and we'll go take each alderman, and they can list projects they may want to see. And then what we'll do is we'll go to the public. And then y'all can tell us, hey, look, we have this. We would like for y'all to consider also this, not only as an additional use, but maybe an alternative use for what might be suggested up here. There will be no decisions tonight. There won't be a vote on anything. But it is going to be something that'll be put on a list, and we will deliberate at a future meeting that'll be decided on how we'll spend these monies. So, having said that, I'm going to go first, and I just have 5 things that I would like to put on the list. The first thing that you'll see around the room is the completion of Polk Park. Bryant Hammond is the engineer, and Bryant's here a little bit, is here tonight, and I would like for Bryant to just address some of the things that they're putting in the park And it's just so people to know, and if they have any questions when we get to the public comment section, Bryant can answer those too. But Bryant, go ahead and just give them an overview of how this started, like back in 2011. And then we just try to update it to what people's needs are today.
Okay. Mayor, council members, in the public. Several years ago, when we did the original Pope Park, we had plans for phase in for phase 2 and phase 3. The mayor asked us to start looking into what's applicable now. Some things have changed, what the public wants, what the people want. But what we have here is strictly a rendering. None of this is set in stone. These are some visions that some of the folks that kicked this around with came up with, just to show you what can be done. I'll start over here with it shows the softball fields, baseball fields, the soccer fields, and what we envision is having a walking or a multi-use trail that comes lighted, that comes all the way around the whole park, the baseball fields, softball fields, soccer fields, and this expansion over here. A multi-use trail that the bicycles walking has exercise stations along the way where you can, as you walk and do some exercise, and if you like, it would be lighted. We would take advantage of some of the existing drainage in the area and create a bioswale to create a little water feature that will be very, very attractive and kind of break the area up. We have a big playground area here, and this would be playground equipment for children of all ages. We even want to try to introduce some playground equipment for adults and even handicapped folks in this playground. We've got plenty of room here. Splash pad, those have become very popular. We put one in Gina several years ago, and it's proved to be just extremely popular. It's not near the maintenance or the liability of a swimming pool, but it still gives the opportunity to get cool off in these hot days that we've had. We're looking kind of at expanding the pond a little bit, maybe create a little beach area here. Pickleball, which I'm not real familiar with, pickleball has become a pretty popular sport, and we can convert one of the tennis courts easily can be converted into 8 pickleball courts just by changing the striping, not a huge expense there. Looking at possibly covering the two westerly tennis courts. And one of the big points that we wanted to have was to have these pavilions for the public to use, whether it's for a family reunion or just a class reunion or anything like that. We've actually put 3 of them in here. This one, I'm going to go over here. This is a larger view of just the western part of the development. Right here, this is where the existing community garden is. We're looking at putting a pavilion in this area. Again, none of this is set in stone. These are just ideas that we had, but also kind of double as a farmer's market. We were going to bring the traffic flow around the tennis courts and have parking up in these areas and in here where people are closer to the park. You don't have to get so carry their lawn chairs and things like that so far. When we're creating the beach here, we're going to put a pavilion right here. Kids at the splash pads, kids at the playground. The parents can get in the shade on the pavilion and have those facilities there. And then we're looking at putting a really Southeast Pavilion, right in this area. You've got the tennis courts here, we're here at the municipal building. We have a very, very nice view coming straight down between the tennis courts, and have some sort of eyepiece, whether it's like a tower or something like that, to really kind of dress this up, kind of have this the centerpiece of it. And it would also have the restroom facilities there. We're looking at putting a skate park in over here, and some restrooms, and we've got these existing basketball courts here, but we really don't have any restroom facilities for the folks utilizing those at the time. So we're going to have some restroom facilities somewhere in this area and here at this main pavilion here. And this is something we came up with possibly expanding kind of a deck out onto the water here, and having like an event lawn where we have a raised arbor where it creates some shade, and you can have like small concerts. You can have if there's classes, like a gardening class or something like that, in this area right here, just an event lawn right in here. This Frisbee's kind of a big deal, and we were looking at using this whole perimeter. I'm going to step back over here, and having a disc Frisbee course a 9-hole disc Frisbee course that would start over here and then end up over here by where the soccer fields are. These are just some examples of pictures of different types of exercise equipment. A skate park. None of this is anything that's been designed for this particular park. It's just kind of showing what opportunities that you do have. This is a good picture of a multi-use trail, a biking trail, a walking trail, jogging trail. And then over here are some pictures of actual projects that have been implemented. A lot of them in the Baton Rouge and the Livingston Parish area that kind of just give you a visual of what can be created and how nice it can be out there. We've got plenty of room for all of these types of facilities that I just went through, and it's just an opportunity to really make the whole park a very, very nice facility. Again, this is just we can call it a vision of what it could be. We would have to get down into the details of what exactly the council wants and what the public wants to actually have out there. But those are some of the ideas. Kind of covers the gamut. We even talked about possibly getting some like a driving range, but like a batting cage. But you could the dad bring their kids to the splash park. They can get out there and hit a few shots. But hitting it into the net, it would be an actual driving range where you could do it along the way. Little things like that, and those things are, in the overall scheme of things, are relatively inexpensive to do. And just kind of what we were trying to do with the guidance I got from the mayor was that we want to have something for everybody, from young kids to older adults, and that's what we're trying to present here. It's just these kinds of projects are really fun. Of course, first thing that has to go in is all the infrastructure that will support a project like this. But it's a lot that can be done. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of exciting toys out there to play with and make it a really nice facility.
On that other field up there, Bryant, right by the show them where you even was maybe considering putting a place for people to bring their dogs. That's going to be over here. We've got thank you, Mayor. To get you oriented, there's the baseball fields, and this is the little RV park when they have the race. Green Light for Life, right? Thank you. And we're thinking about putting a little dog park here. Again, that's
that's not a real expensive item, so just a fence and some things there. But it gives, especially if this RV park is used during ball tournaments and things like that, it just gives gives the folks somewhere to take their cut and not be running all over the park with a kind of a controlled environment. So.
Okay, Bryant, thank you. But before we get to the public part, is the council got any questions of Bryant? I mean,
I do have one question. I don't know who can, I've been looking around the room for a tennis player. I don't know, Scott, do you ever play tennis? I know if my wife was here, but I've heard the reason we can't have any sanctioned tournaments is because the tennis court's facing the wrong way. Has anybody else heard?
well, the coverage of doing those parks, I mean, those back,
These two right
yeah,
here.
would take care of that. That would alleviate that.
What?
If we covered that back section where the pickleball court's gonna be and that tennis court's gonna be, that's gonna alleviate because it's gonna be facing the west and it's gonna be a pretty tall structure and that would block the sun from the
Yeah, I've
evening
just
sun.
always told they're supposed to face north and south, and
Well, I
when
did-
people,
Actually, the US Open, I think those tennis courts do face decent too. It is an issue in the late evening.
yeah, that'd been nice if it'd been caught. in
But
the
that would alleviate that right there, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is, again, this is a project, one of the things, one of our recommendations, and I think all the council is in support of that, I think, of course, but this, is again, we're not voting on things tonight, we're recommending things. The second thing I had on my list was is to pay our municipal debt. The way I've got it looked at, the town can save $500,000 a year in interest if we pay off our municipal debt, which would be our substation, the current balance on our substation, the municipal debt here on our complex, and also the fire truck, and the town would be out of debt completely. The third thing is the renovation of the Council on Aging and the Masonic Lodge number 305 building where they're at. Mr. Hugh Bateman's here tonight with the Masonic Lodge. I know Ronnie Wedgeworth is a member of the Masonic Lodge. Is there someone else here with the Masonic Lodge? We had some. Okay. But anyway, what they've got is the Council on Aging is a very used building, and it's a very prominent building in the town, and it's a historic building. And it is in bad need of repair and renovations, and I would like for us to put that on the list and get up a quote and an estimate of what it would take to renovate that building, because our senior citizens deserve to have a place to go, and it's very nice, and to do their activities. So that's the thing. The fourth thing I had was safety nets for our recreation areas at the softball park and baseball park. It's I think it's just a matter of time before we have the news that somebody got injured very seriously, if they hadn't already, been hit in the head with balls at our municipal parks. And I would like to put that on the list. And the last thing I have is I would like to offer up to the school board $500,000 for seed money to turf Vidalia High School football field. And I think that would have a profound effect, not only on our high school kids and our upcoming kids, but also the community. And this is a lot of parks are going, football fields are going. I know anytime I go out of town now and the park has got AstroTurf fields, you wouldn't believe the community turnout, because these citizens are proud to turn out for these games and support their high schools when they can go to a facility like this. It really gives you a good feeling of the community support that I think that would bring on. I think it would improve our school. And it's not only just for high school games. Again, I've said, on a weekend, on a Saturday in the fall, that high school is wrapped up with cars all over the place with the younger kids, football leagues playing football on that field. So just think about not only the economic impact, but the sense of community that's going to improve for our schools. And that's all I've got that I would like to put on the list. And do y'all want to go by alphabetical order for the rest of the other aldermen to, if they want to put a project on the list for consideration? Or we can go from left to right. What's the alderman want to do? Let's start
I'll
this way.
start. I agree with the football field. It just, as a player, you like to see people care, recognize that you're out there working hard. I remember when we had the quarterback club, they were always working, cooking, doing stuff for us, and, you know, I wanted to make sure I played well on Friday night, but, if there was something we could do with the Viking Street ditch, you know, at least
What
start the Viking Street ditch,
Oh.
the ditch behind Viking Street. Maybe look into, you know, the Vidalia Canal, any part that's in the city, just see what it would be to concrete the whole thing, or as, you know, maybe put a big culvert, fill it in, make it flat, do, you know, something an engineer could look at. Let's see what else
Now, is that the ditch all the way around the field, or just the Viking Street ditch? You're
No,
talking about
the-
We're talking
behind?
about the big.
Oh,
ditch.
okay,
between
okay,
Eleanor and Viking.
okay.
And again, I've been saying this every time I come to the ballpark, I look over there at all the electrical hookups over here, and, you know, if we just pave that area, you'd have a permanent spot for the Relay for Life, plus overflow parking, because, and not trying to step on the toes of the RV park at all, but every tournament I've been to, they're gonna bring their RVs regardless. Not a lot of them, you'll see 3 or 4 of them. But when they start parking all out the parking lot, it takes up a lot of parking, where you could just direct them, you know, over there. And like I said, with the Relay for Life, you wouldn't have to tote a bunch of generators out here like we normally do, because electricity's already there. It's just not being used, it's just sitting out there. But that's really all I have.
Okay. All right, thank you, Brent. Ms. Rosa?
I have some community projects that we would like to see done. Things need to be done for District 1. And we have about 8 things on the list, which we've already met with you several times. But I'm going to not talk about it. I'm going to yield to Mr. Wendell Millix, and he'll talk about it at the public,
Okay.
during the public
Okay.
hearing.
All right, is that's what you had, Ms. Rosa?
Yes.
Okay. All right, John?
Well, number one, I agree that we should eliminate our debt much as possible. I do believe, I don't mean to be a naysayer, but I do believe that this inflation period is going to turn into a recession. And the more that we have our debt paid off, we'll be in better shape. I think that's a wise thing to do. That may even let us do some more things while not having the debt. I am a big proponent of the Polk Park. I met, and you know, we've been talking about that for a while, so I think it's time for us to get it going. I also had mentioned about the ditch between Eleanor. That's been a sore spot for people that live there. I would like to see us concrete it. I think it would help with the water flow and the issue that they have sometimes with the animals, snakes, mosquitoes, and all that kind of stuff. But also the safety nets at the ballpark. We were in Livingston, in Youngsville for a tournament. They had some nets, sort of like ours, but when you're looking at a game and you hear a bat crack in the next field, you got to be ducking because there's a ball coming. They said heads up, and I always said, well, you say heads up, you ought to say heads down, because you're going to look up and catch a ball. So I'd like to see us have that as a project. I also like the idea of helping upgrade the football field at Vidalia High School. Up where I'm from, there's a little community called Quitman, Arkansas, and it's not a very big town. It's a rural thing. But when you come into Quitman, what do you see? You see a updated football field. You see AstroTurf, and it's just a bright spot for that little community of 500 people. And, you know, if an area of 500 people can certainly upgrade their facility, we should help do ours too. So I agree with that.
Buzz, can I just say, I wanted to reiterate, like the netting for sure, and I did have the guy's business card because I talked to the guy that does the nets at one of the tournaments we went to. But like the netting and the football field, I'd like for the school board to have some skin in the game, the rec board to have some skin in the game. Maybe let's, hey, we'll put up, y'all put up. You know, instead of just leaning on us for everything. They got the money.
Well, half of it, now this is only probably about half of the field.
Yeah,
I mean, they would have skin in it.
yeah.
But it's still a community, it's still the town of Vidalia.
Oh, yeah.
It's still, I mean, a lot of people have said for years, they come to Vidalia, you know, people say they come from Natchez to Vidalia because they like the Vidalia school system. And I'll go ahead and say this publicly, that I know that they're talking about looking at studying, making a joint school in the parish. I am against combining our schools. And I honestly think Fairdy's against it. I know a lot of Vidalia is against it. I know Monterey will be against it, and I know the charter school would probably be against consolidating our school into one school. They're going to talk about cost, money saving. I think they're doing financially fine, and I think everybody like to keep their own autonomy in our parish. And so I've said that, I'm sorry, but that's my personal opinion. But I'm not the school board, but that's my personal opinion. But anyway, anything else, John?
I'm good.
Brent? Okay. All right, Robert?
I technically only have about 3 things that I would like to see, as far as, but Mr. Millis, along with different people in my community, also came up with things for District 2 as well. I'll let him elaborate during the public part about that as well, like he will for District 1. I'll let him do for District 2 as well from the committee.
Speak up, please.
I'm sorry. Mr. Millix has a list for District 2 as well, from the community, a group that came together to different ideas that they proposed. I only have 3 things in mind, in my own personal mind, and one would be summer youth program. It pays out, I think, $4,200, and it involves during the summertime the kids being able to have activities and keeping them busy, things like that. We're already, I think, putting $4,200 in it. I would like to see an increase to $5,000. We have
5,000?
5,000, from $4,200 to $5,000, because everything, the economy, everything is going up. Insurance for the annual Memorial Day Parade. This parade is a 166-year-old parade that started right here in Vidalia, Louisiana. It's the oldest and the longest running parade. I would like to see us pay for the insurance for the parade, just simply paying for the insurance for the day of parade for safety of the patrons and spectators and people that participate every year for the parade. And last but not least, I would like to also see from Riverside to Alabama, from Riverside, Alabama to Spruce, Alabama, I've contacted mostly all constituents, people that live in that district, because I know some people in my district were against sidewalks. And that full long street of people all said they would like sidewalk, because they're the only ones pretty much that I know who does not have sidewalks in the district. So from, once again, Riverside, Alabama to Spruce, Alabama. And it was another little area in the district, but me and Jay, once we talked about it, the area is so congested.
Is that down from the slough to the levee?
From the levee.
Because that's pretty tight in there.
Yeah, from the, no, not over there in that area, but from from that's gonna be from the levee,
That's Riverside.
Riverside, all the way down, Alabama to Spruce.
Okay.
But some sections would not be tight. So you would go in and you would map out and see what would be feasible
But
enough.
until you
So
got, past the slough, it would be that's pretty tight. And the Coleman House and where Tabot and a lot of them live, that's.
okay, so we would start where it would be feasible.
Oh, I mean, I'm just asking, I just, that is real, real tight right now. I mean,
Right.
it's, they, matter of fact, they parking their cars, the end of their cars are in the street, and that's why I don't know where they would actually.
So-
I mean, it's fine, I mean, I have no problem with it, I'm just saying,
But
you know,
yeah,
with-
constituents of that district were mostly contacted, and everybody pretty much said, yes, we want sidewalks.
Okay.
So
all right. So-
that'll be my
so-
third thing. Sidewalks from potentially Riverside, Alabama to Spruce, Alabama.
Spruce.
And once again, most of all those constituents, and some I think also called up here saying that they were elated to have them as well. And that's all I have.
Okay, all right, Alderman Probst.
All right, I want to look at, I mentioned this before about our power grid and how we have trees. Again, we say we can't cut them down if they're on private property. I'd like to see us put some funds towards protecting our grid by taking down some essential trees that are in the area that could protect us from having a big outage. I think we could save a lot of problems if we would look at that. That's one thing. I don't know what they are exactly, but we have pinpointed those particular trees that are in very bad locations. As far as if one fell, maybe they never will, but if they do, we'll see the same thing we saw whenever that happened during the Palm Street
Yeah.
deal. That's
Tom,
one
you,
thing.
you actually brought this up last year, and
did.
I have put out RFPs, and I've gotten some back, you know, and what's been the tough part of it, every one of these people do it based on distance, you know, we, instead of us going and showing, we want that cut, this,
All right.
they want distances, and we've got our list, and you're right, that would help us a lot, but they do the work and put it out for bid by distance of how
Right.
much line they're gonna
I
clear.
remember you mentioned you
So,
had that.
but we've got that, and I've got that from Leaping, and we will look at that and get a bid, but I'm glad you put that in
I
there.
think that's a cost savings that
I
maybe
agree.
not ever happen, but if it does, we looked at what we saw last
I
time.
agree
It was
with you.
major. It was major. A week of people in Palm Street or
Mm-hmm.
about with no power. Also, I'll go to the, where are we sitting at the playground? We were funding a playground. Where are we sitting at as far as money involved? This project's been ongoing since Ms. Dore years
Right.
back.
She initiated $150,000.
And we
I
added
think
more.
next year, John initiated 300 to bring it to 400 or
And we're looking at
450.
700, right?
And now, but because where to put a playground, I've been trying since that time to put it somewhere. I don't think anybody wants it on the riverfront. I don't think anywhere else through town, even on the schools. I've been hitting to the schools to move it down there. Not only are the schools not really wanting
we
it,
don't want it to.
citizens around there aren't wanting
Right.
that much. So the only place to put that money with the playground is all up here.
Right, I mean, I agree
That
with
money
that.
will go in all of it, and we can go ahead and put all.
But that's why I'm saying that
Yeah.
project, if it's in the Pope Park, it should be
It's
one of
in
the
there.
first things that goes up
It's in
as
there.
far as Pope Park. And we
Okay.
need to fund that some more this year to get it to a point where we can produce, what did we estimate at one point? Wasn't it around 700,000 to make it about what we wanted it to be?
What's that now? You talking about those playgrounds?
Those playgrounds.
Just the playgrounds? We're gonna have to
I
wait
mean, the
till.
playgrounds, I think it was splash pad, that part.
Now,
I
I
don't
know,
remember exactly what we talked about, but we said we'd
What-
make that involved. in-
what year did y'all do the splash pad in Gina, Bryant? What year did y'all design that?
Oh, my goodness, that was probably, time flies, maybe 8 years ago, 8 or 10 years.
And I think that project, just on the splash pad, was like 700,000, I think, so.
Right, I know it's-
So
I know
it's gonna be,
I know
it's gonna
it's
be.
expensive.
But what I would say, what we're gonna do is get with, I think Bryant, is when we put numbers to this, he's gonna have to do that, and then we'll come back. But yeah, we're 400 head into that, but if you,
But I still say we need to fund that playground fund
Okay,
that we
sure.
already started with,
Right.
which was still way back there.
Sure.
That should be funded before anything else
That-
goes. We should get that, continue to fund that
that's not a
particular
problem.
thing.
That's not a problem. I
All
mean,
right.
Bryant, when we start construction, you can just start on the playground itself.
That'd
and the
be one
splash
of the
pad.
first things.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I'm agreeing with Alderman Smith and Betts on this Eleanor project back here. That is major. We need to get that fixed.
Okay.
That's horrible. When those people have to sit there with like snakes and coons and possums and alligators and stuff coming up in their backyards. So we're looking at a bad situation on that, so that needs to be looked at. And again, with the football and the netting, I still say, like Alderman Smith said, we don't need to fund that for them. They got projects on the rec board, they got their money. School board's got their money. If we want to do a cooperative endeavor type thing where we portion of it, but not to fund it all, I just don't see us being the responsible party to do that. They've been told about that over there many, many times about that netting, and they don't seem to worry about it. Again, we're part of it, but not that part of it, I think. That's the rec board. I think they should be, more than 50% should be their responsibility. That's just my opinion, because that's their baby. We helped them get the parks. Now they should be able to help get those nettings up, because that is a very big concern. It's been going on for years and years and years. And what's going to happen is, it's going to be somebody get hurt real bad one day. But
That's kind of what I didn't want to be.
well, I mean, I
because we can do
understand,
something
but
about it.
who's the responsible party over there?
Well, the rec board is.
There we go. So
Oh.
I would be the first one to say that the rec board needs to consider getting that. And again, I'll say to the public, go to the rec board meetings. Go see what they got to say about it. It's very important for us to be involved in that rec board, but nobody seems to go. So take yourselves to the rec board and present that to them. Say, look, rec board, how many people have been hit? Probably some people in this room have been hit, or almost hit, or their kids have been hit. That's a dangerous situation. And all it takes is one person really get hit, brain injury or something like that. Somebody's got a problem. And I don't think it's us. I think it's the rec board.
No, of course, we already in a CEA with the rec board. I don't know if it had to be specific for that.
Right.
But on the school, it would take a CEA, and we are just funding half it. They would, that's what I'm saying, we just put up that much, and they'd
Right.
bring up the balance of it as far as the field goes. But,
That's all I got.
okay.
Let me just say this, for the constituents of District 2, the slough pumping station, it's already in the process of getting things done. Am I correct?
It's
ma'am?
already been
So
approved.
that's why I'm not elaborating or saying anything.
The funding letter's been
pertaining
done.
tonight.
Bryant and them are designing it, and it's probably going to take another year before you see actual construction begin, but everything's done financially. It's been approved. The monies have been. It was $973,000 was approved. That was a project that Alderman Gardner originally had put up hydro funds, 1.2 million, but we was able to save about $1 million that by going to get the state DOT to approve it in one of their projects. So that's monies we didn't spend, and so anyway. All right, so does the Alderman have anything before we get into the public part of it, of talking with some of the public? And I'll just get a show of hands, and I'll recognize somebody if they want to come stand and sit up and talk. So I'd like to get a board vote and make a motion to enter to the public hearing to
I'll
receive
make
public
that motion.
input. Okay, motion made by Alderman Gardner, here a second, by Alderman Probst. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, we're in the public portion of our hydro meetings. Let's start, okay, over here. Okay, Ellen? Ellen? Or-
Yeah, I thought if you'd listen, I'd like to enhance some of these good ideas that I'm just now hearing, and I'm thinking, as I hear these are some very good ideas, and I'd like to see them come to fruition on us. But I'll start off with the cooperative endeavor with the football field. I think that's a good idea. I play pickleball with the head coach of Vidalia High School, Mike Norris, and he's always, I hear his concerns about the condition of the field. I don't think they're even able to practice on it. They just strictly play games on it. But I didn't know if you knew, because I just found out Vidalia High School has a track team. They don't have a track. They have to go to Natchez to actually practice and run meets. So if we're going to do any kind of enhancement over there around the field, let's consider putting a track around it. I don't know how much extra that would be, but it'd be worth looking into. Over to Polk Park, it's a great idea. The frisbee golf, the disc golf is a great idea. We were in Austin, and we came across a unique sport that coincided with frisbee golf and disc golf, and it was called foot golf. I don't know if you've heard of that. Foot golf. It's played with soccer ball. It's played on the same field, the same area as a disc golf or a frisbee golf course. You just would add a hole. You still have the same tee box. You kick a soccer ball the length of the fairway into a bigger hole that would accommodate a soccer ball. So that would be something really cheap, and you could add and really unique to this area. I don't even know if there's one anywhere around here.
We'll see all the soccer
foot
teams
golf.
practicing on the football.
That's right. I believe you'll get some activity from that. Other than that, there's some great ideas. I would just like to enhance it. just a question, curiosity, how much money are we talking this year earmarked for funding, for projects?
Well, right now, we're sitting on a lot of surplus funds. I don't have a final number, but it's enough to do everything that's been brought up tonight, for
Yeah.
sure, and have a lot left over.
Well, great.
And by the time, I don't want to give specifics.
Oh, okay.
I'll just tell you right now, in surplus funds, it's around 22 million.
Wow, that's great.
And
I
that's only
never-
after a half year of the increase.
Uh-huh.
By the time these projects are completed, you're talking about substantial money.
I never-
But we can still, you can't just say, well, we got an open checkbook. There's still some responsibilities that the town
Right.
is going to have dealing with the hydro when it comes to time in 2030, that you will have to maybe have a good sum of money to continue that hydro relationship or project, further. What's that going to look like? How much money is it going to require? Are you going to want to own the plant and have to have money, deep enough pockets to maintain it? Or there's a lot of questions to be answered over the next few years that are critical, very, very critical to the town of Vidalia. So, but right now, probably within when our next check, you'll be close to 28 million, something like that.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome for the town of Vidalia.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, that's all.
So yes, we could fund it.
Ricky, I agree with you about the track. I had a conversation about that today. Did y'all have a track team?
We had a track team. I
Yeah.
ran AA
Yeah.
and high
When
jump,
I
but we
was
didn't
in-
have a track.
When I was in high
Y'all
school.
had grass, you had mowed grass.
We had grass.
Yeah, we had a track team when I was in high school.
It was
and-
cut short.
I mean, they would just, like high jump, land on tore up foam. But their district time just beat everybody at state, but their bus broke down on the way to state. It was Willie Turner and Ralston Brown, all that whole group. They were incredible, but didn't have a track.
My son-in-law just went to Beekman Charter, and he said they just did their football field and a track, and it's several million. They just completed it, and it's nice, but it costs just the project. But it's it's something that I wouldn't mind being a cooperative
Yeah.
endeavor type thing to help do
And
that.
that's what I was saying about not to get into school board business, but you collect that money for the kids, spend it on the kids.
Right.
Don't let the kids go through
I agree.
school and never get a dime spent on them.
I mean, I agree.
That's not fair to the kids. But anyway.
A lot of you've been to Pineville, you see the Louisiana College, their turf field, how pretty it is. I mean, there's people on it covering it every time I go by there. It's
There's
just like-
several around. I mean, I passed some all the way I went to Bastrop yesterday, and I'd say I have several schools that a lot of them going turf.
I just think, Tommy, that I think with where we're at as a town and where we're growing, we're progressing like hyperspace, that this is going to put people in these schools like crazy. I really believe that. And it's only going to help our school system and help everything involved. I
You
really
see
do.
a successful town, you're going to see a successful
That's
public
right.
school.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
You have to have it.
And that's
Education
critical.
wise.
That's critical.
And I'm again one, and not a proponent of
Yeah, and
consolidating the school.
I'm not
No,
saying stop at
You want to
athletics if
consolidate?
the
No.
school
Oh,
needs
okay.
something for
Thank you.
education.
Not a proponent of consolidation as
Me.
a public person.
Let's vote on it tonight and let them know. So, okay, is that all, Ricky? Okay, Ellen?
Well, hello, everybody. I don't know if you all know me, but my name's Ellen Yates. I've been a citizen of Vidalia all my life, and I'm president of the Vidalia Beautification Committee here. And we've been honored to have money given to us to help beautify our town. And I want to fill y'all in on what's been going on with the first phase. And then I'd like to talk about the second phase of what we would like to see going on. First of all, the Vidalia Beautification Committee has been collaborating together all year, and we've been coming up with some ideas to try to beautify Vidalia to make it a prettier place and more attractive for people coming in to our town. And the first phase with the money, we have ordered 30 light poles, and they will be delivered this month in August. They are loaded down with electricity. They have lights, they have banners, they have flags. Some of them do, some of them have, I don't know, has anybody seen the picture of them? Would y'all like to look at them?
I've seen
I
them.
have pictures here if you would like to look at them.
They're the decorative poles, yeah.
But this will give y'all an idea of what you're going to see.
Yeah, that's what we saw.
We had the privilege of speaking with a very intelligent woman who's been in the business for 30 years. She's from Sternberg Lighting, and she helped Natchez pick out their light poles. So we know we're in good hands with her. Her name is Jill Bullard, and she has been with us all the way, and we couldn't have done it without her. They are shipped, and they're in the process of being shipped, and they'll be here probably at the end of this month. I'm just going to fill y'all in just a short little thing about where they will be. There are going to be 8 light poles around the courthouse square. And these light poles they'll be lighted. They'll have, during Christmas, they're going to have wreaths, lighted wreaths on them, and flags. Then the other 11, we're going to have 11 on one side of the highway going up the levee, not up the levee, to the end of the levee. And we're going to alternate with hanging baskets, banners, and flags. Hanging baskets, banners, and flags. So it won't be conglomerated, as you could say, if you can picture this in your mind. But this is the way to lead people to the riverfront. They won't be decorated just for Christmas. They'll have banners, seasonal banners on them. Also, we're going down Martin Luther King, and we're going to go up Clinton Street to that side. We're having some work being done in the process to clear away some buildings to make this beautiful. So we want both sides of our town to be equally beautiful, so that when people come to see the riverfront during Christmas or throughout the year, whenever, our town will be pretty, and we'll have different banners, different flags. So these poles are really going to help beautify Vidalia. Also, let's see. Just don't want to make sure I'm leaving anything out. What we'd like to do, we're going to try to get these up before Christmas, some of them. Now, I know the town's going to be busy, but we're going to try to get the ones up around the courthouse, because we're going to have a festival there this Christmas for the children. And Santa Claus will be there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we're going to, the beautification committee is going to come out, and we're hoping to just have a good old Hallmark downtown Christmas there at the old courthouse. So we're having some work done there on the sidewalks. But since this is a focal point here in Vidalia, we think it's real important to make this historical part of our town beautiful. Now, we've got, for Phase 2, we think that the entrances to our city should be fantastic. We think they should draw people in. So we think, since we're coming off the bridge, we have a beautiful display there. And you're going to be able to see those lights from the courthouse. You're going to be able to see them from Martin Luther King. You're going to be able to see the banners. Then, on the second phase, since that's our theme, those light poles, we need to bring those through our town and pick out some beautiful buildings like the banks. There are 5 banks here in Vidalia. Now, the banks may want to buy them themselves, which is fine, but we're talking about lighted poles with hanging baskets or banners, whatever they want. Just say, for instance, in front of Concordia Bank, you put 2 lighted poles in that strip there with hanging baskets or banners or whatever, and you've got that look bringing it through town. Then you go on down to another bank, and you've got the same thing in the other bank. Then when you get to the end of town down here, if we put the lighted poles in this strip right here, you'll have the same look. Just say 2 poles here, and then the poles may be scattered out around here. That would bring the whole theme and the look through town. The main thing is the entrance out coming from Faraday this way. I think we all think, in the beautification committee, think we need something really eye-catching there. And at Christmas, we don't have anything there. And we were thinking, now this is just an idea, that we could maybe not bring the Christmas decorations down there, but people have been saying, why don't you bring it on down past the city hall? What about putting double banners on each side of the poles, some of the poles? I've got some pictures, they're beautiful, of Christmas, I don't know, whatever, wreaths or whatever. It would be an inexpensive way to decorate, very inexpensive, because they could be put up and taken down. And you could do every other pole, like one on one side of the highway, one on the other side, one on one side, one on the other side. You just scatter them out. And when you come in Vidalia and you see that, they're going to go, wow. You could even put maybe, a festival or whatever, something like that. Okay, so that's along with the phase 2, and then I have just a few more things, and I'm going to sit down. So all you'd have to do is add brackets to those light poles. That's all you'd have to do is just add the brackets and order the banners. Okay. We'd like to see the riverfront grow at Christmas, and we'd like to see more people, more businesses have boxes. I had J&J Carpet call me the other day. I live right next door to her, and she would love to have a box, a Christmas box, to represent not the cleaning services, but just have a sign by side of it that says that J&J Carpet donated this box for Vidalia, this beautiful Christmas scene. If we could, but we would have to get more electricity over there. I don't think we have enough there to expand that. But that would be a great way to expand the riverfront, to get businesses to pay a certain amount. But then again, we don't have storage. So that's another thing. If we had storage for those, it would be perfectly wonderful. So I'm just bringing the fact out that we could add more electricity to the riverfront and get the boxes made. Because I've got 4 or 5 people calling me wanting boxes. So anyway, we could make money that way, charge so much a box. Okay, and the last thing I have is the American flag. Winsboro, I was born in Winsboro. I love Winsboro, but they got the prettiest flag in the state. Wouldn't it be great if we had one almost that pretty, or that, I know it's very expensive, but if we could put one, and I don't know, I'm just saying, here in front of City Hall, it would be outstanding to have a huge American flag there. And we've been working on some prices, but we don't have the correct amount down. But I'm not going to say any more, but all of this is just some ideas that we have come up with for our town. And I'm going to tell you, I went through Gina the other day, and it is fabulous. It's beautiful. They've got light poles on the street. They've got banners and flags. And you just love, everybody loves it. So I think that these things could really help make Vidalia more beautiful. And I hope y'all will consider some of them. And Cindy wants to talk a little bit about the botanical art that's coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ma'am.
You said, sorry, you said Trondale and Clinton. It's MLK and Trondale.
Well, I meant,
I
say
knew what you meant.
It's MLK because when you come off the bridge, you see MLK there. It's beautiful. And you come down, and then you go up. John Dale, then
yeah.
Clinton.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I don't know my streets.
I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
Okay.
One
But-
thing just for y'all to think about in your meetings is maybe come up, at least businesses, if they would design a box and present it to y'all for y'all's approval.
That
to
would
go
be
down there.
fantastic. We would love.
I don't want to be the one to say, oh, that's a pretty sign. It needs to be a certain size. It needs to be a
It's got-
certain quality. And for y'all to look at it and do that and then pay so much money that would go into, the fund for the riverfront for Christmas only, that would be something for y'all to consider. But that's just,
We would love to do that.
We'll talk about
that. Okay. Thank
right.
you. Anybody?
Thank you,
Any
Ellen.
questions, anybody? Okay.
Okay. All right, Miss Cindy.
Okay. Lauren Jones Albright is an artist who grew up in Vidalia. Her mother is also an artist. But Lauren has done these botanical art wraps. She's done them on computer. You can also, she's also done them hand-drawn, hand-painted, we would, of course, limit the subject matter to botanical art and native birds and that kind of thing. We thought how beautiful it would be to put these on the utility boxes that are spread around town, and of course in this complex. I think there's close to, I don't know, an estimated about 60 within the town of Vidalia. Now, we could start just baby steps, starting with the ones on the riverfront and see, and she said she is willing to do a sample for us, and she couldn't come tonight, but she can come next Monday, and ask her to bring some samples for us to look at. And she said that it would probably not be a big difference in price between a hand-painted one and a computer-generated wrap, because the designs are done by the artist and then put in the computer, which then generates the wrap. They're both can be weather protected. They both would last many years.
Do they have a lifetime on those?
I don't know that
Cindy?
it's lifetime. I don't know.
I was wondering what a lifespan of one of those.
A
would be.
lifespan of
Yeah,
one.
I know it wouldn't last a lifetime.
Remember
but
what she said?
2 to 8 years, sometimes 10.
Okay.
I'm sure it depends on the weather.
Yeah. And then, of course, they would be well sealed, with the newest technology to seal them.
Because they can seal them now with UV stuff that'll protect them from sun, that sort of thing.
Yeah, keep them from fading and all that.
Mhm.
But she can give a lot more of the details of that when she comes next week.
Okay. All right. Do you want to tell everybody about what you have, what your Vidalia Garden Club is hosting next year, 2023?
Oh, I'd love
I can't
to.
believe you didn't say that.
I'd love to. I know. I take every opportunity. In April 17th through the 20th, we are hosting the State Garden Club Convention. And it's open to anybody that wants to come. Of course, you do have to pay a registration fee, but if you don't want to come to the meals, you don't pay for the meals. You just pay for what you can come to. We have about 5 workshops. We'll have a whole hall full of vendors in the promenade where the windows are in the convention center. We'll have vendors from not just this area, but all over the state. And we'll be bringing in people from all over the state to Vidalia. It's going to be exciting. So we have been working on that very, very hard. Let's see. If I had known, I would have brought more info on it, but I'll have more. I'll have more.
Thank you, Cindy. All right. Anybody else? Okay.
Here's another idea one of our members had, is to, have y'all ever been to Pineville and seen the water tower lighted up at Christmas?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I had a member at the meeting say, wouldn't it be great if we had lighted up our water tower? And they have twinkling lights that look like a big waterfall, so that's another idea.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that for sure. Anybody else on this side have anything they want to? Okay. Nobody? All right, let's go to this side. Show of hands. All right, Wendell? All right, okay, go ahead.
Good evening. I'm Wendell Billings, and a group of citizens, we compiled a list of proposals that we would like to present. First on the list, we recommend the installation of LED lights throughout the city, and we hope that we will continue the beautification efforts on Martin Luther King, John Dale, Florida, and Alabama. These are main thoroughfares leading to the riverfront and also down to the RV point, and especially on the south end of Martin Luther King Street, need addressing. Second item on the list is we'd like to see established turnarounds on the north side of town at Magnolia, Walnut, Laura Street. Those streets are dead end. They have no turnarounds at all on those streets. Second, on those same streets, the fire hydrants only exist at the middle of the street. There's no fire hydrants at the end of those streets at all. So we'd like to see fire hydrants established at the end of those streets also.
Can you say those streets
fleet. We would like to see playground, recreation equipment established at this park. Also, we'd like to see the practice soccer and football field completed at this park.
Where's the, because I've looked at that extensively, where's there room for a football field and soccer field in that area?
That's a 12-acre site, and all you have down there now is a pavilion and the walking trail.
You're talking about that area?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
So
'Cause
there's
that-
12 acres there. So there's
Okay.
plenty of field, and this is just maybe to the southwest corner, or southeast corner of the junior high school, if you look back over across in that southern
Yeah,
direction.
I just want to make sure, because I know that's pretty low in there. I just have to, no. But no, go ahead. That's fine. We'll put it on the list for sure. I mean,
Right.
I just wanted to make sure where you was talking about that going, because I know there's baseball fields and basketball courts, tennis courts, and all that other that completely fill up the
Yeah,
the
that's-
front portion, which is.
That's
now-
actually the Vidalia Junior High School.
Right,
But if you
that's
go
actually
further
school-
south,
that's
down
actually-
the Reeves property line.
That's the school board property there. Now,
Yes.
the Vidalia actually owns the ground where you're talking about there, yeah.
Right, and this is city ground.
Right.
That we're speaking of now.
Right.
And actually, the permit, Mr. Singleton actually got the permit from the Corps of Engineers to actually improve this area some years ago.
Does it run from from the actual road back, William?
Okay,
Where does that property stop? Does it run to the road, up to the highway, or not?
if you look at the basketball courts at
Yeah.
the Vidalia Junior High School,
Right.
you cross that canal. As soon as you cross that
Right.
canal, you're gonna have the walking trail, and that 12 acres start at that point, and actually probably extend back about 300 or 400 feet.
Okay,
going
how does,
south.
it goes just straight south?
Go south, east and west also.
Does it go to the road?
No.
No.
Okay, that's what I was
You
wondering.
talking about the wooded area where?
Yeah.
No, it don't go to that.
It's low in there for sure.
Right,
No,
the
it's-
frontage
it's
area is
another-
where Rivertown Automotive used to be.
Right.
On that front side,
Yeah.
but it stopped before you get to that area.
They built that road and therefore a walking trail.
Right. But
So,
it's
but-
super low back up
Yeah,
there.
it is. Okay, go ahead.
Also, at the most northern end of South Oak Street, the sidewalks wasn't completed in that section. So I think it's 2 blocks on the South Oak Street, the northern portion of it, that need completion. We request that they look at complete those.
Okay. That's South Oak.
South Oak.
Yeah.
So that wasn't included in the sidewalk that we were talking about?
No, that was over.
That's Ms. Dimmitt's district.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't ever bring that up, though, did you, Ms. Nimbus? About the sidewalk missing in that area?
Yeah, we've talked about it.
That's what I'm saying, but they didn't replace it during this last sidewalk adventure?
No.
And the last item we would like to see funded is the after-school tutorial program. This was a program that started back in 1999, started at the junior high school, had approximately about 120 kids in that program, and it continued throughout the year, sponsored by a nonprofit called Concord Youth and Adult Community Association. We would like to see that program funded. The actual cost, estimated cost, about $150,000. That's probably about 6 teachers, administrator. Those facilities are available at the old water plant building. We have a resource center and 2 portable buildings, which that's where the program is normally hosted at. That program, I think back in 2000, was actually responsible for helping the junior high school become a blue ribbon school, and it's very successful throughout the years. And over the later years, it's actually anywhere from approximately about 65 students in that program.
Was the school board involved in that?
They was involved in the early years, but in the later years, primarily funded through the state and through the city.
What
actually,
about
off and
grants?
on.
Did they get any grants for it?
Only grant that the school had was through the community, I think, facility program, which was sponsored in the Faraday area.
Right.
I'm-
Were any grants pursued for it?
Yes, we did, yes. And also, we got some state funding. Representative Hammond at the time was state representative. He also helped us with funding in the early years.
Are there still grants available?
Occasionally, you have it, but through the Department of Education, but they had to be specific, though. I mean, sometimes.
Has anybody pursued those grants?
Yes, we have.
Okay.
Yes,
What's
we
the
have.
response?
Usually the response is they're pretty competitive. Your schools is gonna get the first choice. We competing against larger metropolitan and suburban areas, so that's our condition.
Who's actually doing the grants? Who's actually pursuing those grants?
I actually would write the
You were
grants
writing
for
the
our
grant?
nonprofit, Concord Youth and Adult Community Association.
And you've done it yearly to stay in the game or not?
Yes, we stayed in the game. Over the last 6 or 7 years, due to budget restrictions and some of the other state requirements and federal requirements, the lack of funding in the budget effort, the funds has not been there on the federal
Right.
or through the state level.
Right.
Ms. Denby, is that the one you might have taught in or tutored in? I know that, I know Alderwoman Denby has been a tutor.
Yes, that's the one I was the director for.
You was the director for that. Can you tell us more about, I mean, how did that, I mean, is there any kind of accreditation that the kids that go there and go to school that they get? And, I mean, what are the guidelines and that are establishing how much you get paid or that sort of thing? Or, because I didn't even, or did teachers donate their time or were they paid? I mean.
Oh, no, the teachers were paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the teachers normally are paid, the last time we had this program, they was paid $25 an hour. The programs are normally 2 hours, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday. So, $25 an hour, that was the last, amount that was paid to the teachers.
Was
And
it any cost to the students who tutored?
no cost
No.
whatsoever. And the buildings are there already, like I said,
Right.
the resource center, your 2 portable buildings.
Any stipulations if they started and didn't quit and didn't finish?
Normally, we didn't have any kids that quit. The program was very successful, and that's what many interactions with the student and parents. We had parents that volunteered, we had community
yeah.
people that volunteered also.
Right.
So, I mean, every program that we had with these children was very successful.
Okay.
And normally, the lesson plans and any information or the type of system the kid need, it would come
Right.
from the school. The
Right.
teachers would stay in contact with the school teachers at the school to relay this information to the tutorial center.
Is there an age limitation or?
Normally, we focus on the pre-K, the lower and upper elementary. That was our focus. And
So
was
that takes
based
you
on
through the,
need.
so that takes you through the 4th grade?
No, we was going our way to 9th grade in some
Ninth
cases.
grade, okay.
Yes.
And we had kindergarten through ninth grade.
Okay. Oh, okay. I think on that, I don't have a problem with it. I would just like to see, you know, how the money's budgeted. I mean, you know, what is it for? I mean, you see what I'm saying? I mean, as far as how's the money gonna be spent?
75% of that funds go to the, as far as your payment to your teachers. The other 25, 30% building maintenance, supplies, such as that. But the majority there is gonna be your payroll with the teachers.
Okay.
Because that's
Because you said 150,000.
correct.
So,
Prior to that, who was actually, where did you get your funds from last time?
But we had a combination. One year, we got funds from the state. I think 2 years, the city actually funded the program. So, yes, just different avenues.
The year I was director,
Okay.
the city funded
Yes, sir, so I remember
the
doing it.
program.
only thing I mean, as far as giving just say a blank amount for repairs to the building, I would like, if there's something like that that needed repaired, it would be on an as-needed basis. For example, I mean, whatever, the town owns the building, right?
Correct.
Okay, and it's leased to the group. 'Cause so any building maintenance, you know, if that we're gonna, I would think that would just be a, you know, just saying, hey, look, you got $75,000 to spend on your building like you want to. I'd like rather, if there's a need for it, you know, because we have carpenters, we have electricians, we have, you know,
And all-
everything. I would
all
like,
the general maintenance, that was performed by volunteers, myself, Mr. Dunbar, all the mowing of the lawn, all that's volunteer.
okay. Okay,
As well as the snacks that were
That's
provided.
correct.
They had snacks every evening.
okay. All right,
That's all.
that it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Wendell. That's
Okay.
something, that's some good stuff on there, for sure. Anybody else on this side? Okay, go ahead. Oh, okay, hold on, Ms. Josephine, I'm gonna come back to you. Okay, you want, okay, Ms. Josephine, come on, I mean,
was there before me. She was at the center.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Josephine Sanders Webster. Been a resident of Vidalia about 80 years. But I would just like to add something to what Mr. Milix told you. Save Our Sons and Girl Power were a big part of the program, too. We added to the after-school tutorial program. But our focus mainly was on life skills. We had students attend educational facilities. We had them attend institutions, so they want that where people were incarcerated, and we wanted to make sure those boys and girls say, I don't want to go here. So we took them to, I'll just say, the penal institutions. We took them to Grambling Southern, at the time, ULM, and so forth. I would like to add to that, to what Mr. Milix has given us, another portion of the after-school, excuse me, of the after-school tutorial program. I've spoken with a young lady who said she is doing a grant on after-school tutorial program, so if we could work together, that would be even better. And the focus in that case would be on reading, and I think Miss Georgiana might have something more to say on that. That's why I was talking with her. So that's about it. Save Our Sons and Daughters, or Girl Power, in addition to after-school tutorial programs.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Josephine. And Ms. Josephine's a retired educator, isn't that right?
Yeah.
And you taught for how many years? 47. 47. She was just getting started.
She wouldn't have made it today, would you, Mr. She would have, but I wouldn't have wanted her to.
You
Okay.
remember me, Ms. Josephine? You remember me?
It's more pictures than anything, so.
You tried.
Sorry. Mayor?
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, Mayor, Council Board, and fellow neighbors. My name is Cheryl Bowman. What I gave the council, what I proposed for to do with a portion of the money. Since I've relocated to Vidalia, I noticed that there are not a lot of community things going on and things for kids. So what I did was, I would like to do a movie night. One would either be one at the amphitheater and or a drive-in on the other side where they have the carnival and stuff. So I have a suggestion of movies, the location, I have pictures, I have a quote, one for the fall, for Halloween, and then one in the spring. Next year, Easter is a little early, so we would do it after Easter. I think in total, and then we have some room for some playroom with the totals from $150 to $700, depending on the insurance being named COI, different things of that nature. And then I was saying that why would we use the hydro funds? For fun, family, socializing, supporting, promoting local businesses. So in addition to watching the movie, local craft, people who have businesses to come and, and let people know what we have. Building morale within the community. Like I said, I don't see a lot of things for kids to do around here, and I'm glad that the parks are being done. I think that's a huge improvement. I do have one thing about Polk Park, though. That restroom, I know it's not etched in stone, but to put it in between the splash park and the beach, so that people who have little kids don't have to go so far. That's just my little 2 cents. But does the board have any questions about that? The movie night?
And that's your budget you have on there, Cheryl?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, because I've got several things stapled, it looks like it's repetitive on mine, I got several copies. Is that, you made us all extra copies?
No, it should be only one. You could,
I'm looking
you can get rid of it if it's not necessary.
Okay, well, I'm just,
I have a couple of more items, nothing major, just some ideas that I have for also building community. So in addition to that, job fair, Cyrus getting ready to employ over 400 people in the next couple of years. You have the denim factory, just places that people don't know that there's jobs, because people are in need of jobs, those that want to work. But just information out there for people. Finance, people may have some extra money from retirement they don't know what to do with. Just educating the communities and having programs, whether it's at the library or the community center. But yeah. Sewing classes, cooking classes. Who knows?
okay.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, Cheryl, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, anybody else? Okay, Keeney? Oh, well, Keeney, I'll come back to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I wasn't going to say anything because I had already talked to Pyra, and she's going to present whatever it is that she has about education, because I don't want to the city to think that we're working against each other. We want to work together. So whoever put the best education plan together for the children, I think that that's what we should do. But if anybody knows me, they know that my heart and mine is for elderly, and that's me. I'm elderly. So, well, I feel that there should be something in the community for me and some of my other friends that are elderly, but they don't want to say that they are elderly, for us to do in the afternoon, like maybe from 4 to 7, maybe exercise, a little line dancing, little movies, something that's more incentive, more just upbeat, something to do. We don't have those places to go to do things.
Right.
And I know that should be something that money, we can use that money to put something together for us to do. And I know some of our seniors that go to the center would probably like to do some of that too. They go in the mornings, they eat, and they go home, and they have nothing else to do. They have nothing else to look forward to. And I know some of us would like to have something else to look forward to doing on a couple of days of the week, other than just sit at home, watch TV, or just kind of mope around and do nothing. So
Okay.
that's my 2 cents.
Georgiana, thank you for that. Now, Georgiana and I did visit today, and she told me that same thing. I'm going to go ahead and tell you what I recommended. You know, I don't know what the hours of the Council on Aging are, but I would think that would be something that we could put some monies in, to have somebody administer and direct those activities for the seniors. And maybe our Jim Bowie room at the convention center would be an ideal place for people to come. If you want to square dance, country dance, line dance, break dance, I don't care. But I would think that would be something that y'all could get together and coordinate with the Council on Aging to put those things together, put them up in the hall so people can see them, and they can show up and do. You know, bring a teacher in to teach knitting, to bring a teacher in to, to sew, whatever it might be. I just think that we have an opportunity. You know, a lot of people are wanting us to build community centers. Well, we have a community center down there that's already built. That a lot of times it's not being used. That Jim Bowie room could house a good number of people to do these things. And it's not, you're doing something for your public that's not somebody out there making money. Now, if somebody's wanting to come in and charge y'all to line dance and charge you $30, no, they're going to have to pay to use the building. But for something like that, I think it's already been paid for with tax dollars. We should, as a town, support that. So that's just an idea. Okay.
That'd be a good committee to be formed in the community. Somebody like you, Jordan, wanted to form something like that. Like you said, we offer the room. You just form the network of people that want to work on it. get a committee together, just like we do at our church, or Young at Heart. My wife and I are doing that. We have 185, 100 people at times, you know.
And will that help you advertise it, put on our social media, our
Once-
internet,
once
whatever
a
it
month.
takes, yeah. So, Kenny, I think you've been sitting too long, haven't you? Your feet went to sleep. What This is Kenny Rushing.
Well, I know me and you have talked before. You started mentioning sidewalks tonight, and I really think we need a sidewalk from the high school around that curve. I used to walk all the time. You see kids in the afternoon when they get out of school, they're walking, they're on the road, they can't get off when somebody comes around that curve. And for a safety feature, we really need that. If y'all could squeeze some funds out and put a sidewalk in there, a double sidewalk in there, whether it's on the right or the left.
Okay, Bryant and them have just engineered, we have just approved some additions to our improvements to our drainage, which is going to address that culvert there where that area is. It can be widened to maybe accommodate that.
Yeah, if they could put a little walking bridge over that culvert, I mean, make it even more attractive and part of Vidalia. Give them something to look at, but that's a dangerous curve
Very
there. And
dangerous.
every day it scares me when those kids are walking home from school. I think me and you talked about it too.
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
All right, we'll certainly look at that.
Yeah, the other thing is I really want to thank y'all for what y'all are doing here in this recreational area. Having it up here by the police station is going to make it a whole lot safer for people. They're going to feel more comfortable to come at all hours and not be worried about anything. Also, it's going to cut down on any vandalism that may take place. We all know teenagers get a little excited sometimes, and they sometimes get a little destructive. So having it up here by the police department is going to hold that down. We've talked about the skateboard park, the park, and I've made calls down to Slidell. I've made calls up to Ruston. Talked to a guy in Arizona. I've talked to people in California. I've talked to people, they're building one in Vicksburg, and they're building one up in, I think, Vicksburg. They're remodeling theirs in Baton Rouge. They're remodeling one in Baton Rouge. So to put one here would put us in track within 100 miles of having a skateboard park around here. I've talked to those guys, and I don't know anything about skateboarding. My brother-in-law, he surfs, so I don't really know a lot of skaters, but talking to these guys, the skateboard community is like a community. I mean, it's a whole group of them that come around, and if they know you have a real good skateboard park, they'll come from out of state. They'll travel all over from California to here to come to the park and do tricks at this park. So
Something different.
That's right. And if you apply for that grant to the Tony Hawk Foundation, they have some guidelines there that can help you. But they tell you that you can't have anybody, if you're going to take advantage of their grant, you can't have anybody build that skate park unless they built at least 5 skateboard parks. So they're putting some guidelines down that will help you be successful. And the guy in Ruston, Joel, I think it's Joel Strickland. But anyway, I can give you, I think I've texted you his number. But he said he'd be more than happy to do a video conference with you guys and talk to y'all about that, what they've had to do up in Ruston and the pitfalls they've had. And the same thing in the guys in Baton Rouge and Slidell have the same, said that they'd be more than happy to communicate what their problems were.
Okay.
And how they overcame those and are proceeding with building their skateboard park. But, I mean, this is amazing. And this is going to set us apart from our other cities in the area.
I think we all feel like we are set apart already, but
That's
anyway.
right. We are set apart, but sometimes
setting the bar higher and higher.
Yeah, sometimes their name is something that gets thrown out there more, and Natchez is been here, and we just been sitting on the sidelines, and I think this is going to change things. Especially being on the highway, people are going to see it from the highway. They're going to pull in here and stop. Baseball season, when those parks are full, people are going to see what we have here. They're going to come back and revisit this park.
I agree.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kenny. Anybody? Yes, ma'am. Miss Vivian.
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
I hope that we as still consider our
Okay. I'm gonna write that down, that Miss Vivian wants a marquee. Now, we can't have flashing lights. We can't have, we have things we gotta follow. Okay, anyone else? Cassandra?
I just need to piggyback on behalf of the beautification committee, because
Okay.
one of the things that we talk about is making the whole town pretty. And we've talked about MLK, but we need to put emphasis on why it's so important to make sure that MLK is just as pretty as Carter Street, Texas Street, Concordia, Walnut. And the thing, I love my street.
Because she lives on Walnut.
But one of the things that we need to remember about MLK, not only is it a great man like Dr. Polk, but MLK is the gateway leading to the RV park. Can't get to it from Concordia. It's the gateway to Sarah, to Vidalia Mills, or Vidalia Denim, whatever that. I can't think of the name of the grain elevator people.
Was Bungie, but they don't, it's not Bungie anymore.
They're not there no more?
Well, they're there, but it's not Bungie.
So,
Consolidated.
when you turn off that bridge, not only should you look to the right, you should be looking to the left at what's going on down there. And MLK and John Dale lead you to our famous riverfront. And in that development, we have our nice hotels. We have a gorgeous convention center with a beautiful riverfront view. And we have our riverfront walkway, trail or whatever you call it. So I want us to really put some strong emphasis, beautification committee.
I think she said they was gonna put those decorative lights down Martin Luther King all the way down
I want you to
down.
ask the flower beds and all those other things, you know. And that's what I gotta say about MLK.
Okay. Miss Josephine Webster, she said, that forgive her for her age, but she remembered something she didn't say. Come on, Miss Josephine.
I have to talk with my young folk coming up here sometimes to get done what's supposed to be done. Ms. Kathy Singleton, who's the owner, and Mr. Armies Banks, I think he made a presentation some time ago. He's the director of an organization called Alcenda, and they have really been doing some good work. We have been collaborating, and their goals are to further focus on health, physical fitness, recreation, social and self-esteem development. Excuse me. They also provide resources and assistance to help improve or to continue education and employment readiness. I'm sorry that Mr. Armies isn't here, he's out of state or whatever, but I was hoping that he would be here to further explain, but they have been really doing some great work, working with one college especially that I know of, and getting persons to get involved, not only to go to college, but they learn how to present themselves in interviews. What are some other things?
We take care of orientation. We make sure that they get to the university. We provide transportation for them, for those that are not able to get there. We also charter buses to let them tour the university. And all this is done for not just Vidalia, but Concordia Parish, is what it's done for our students that's looking for higher education, is what we do. And also, for our senior citizens, we provide transportation for them, even while the school was going on. We provided meals that was delivered to their their homes free of charge because we had no financial backing. So our Center organization has been in Vidalia for a number of years.
About 5. About 4 or 5.
5 and 6.
Because I remember, well, I remember when Hermes came and got his occupational license.
Yes, yes. And, he, matter of fact, he is at Philander Smith now registering our students from this area. And he will be up there the balance of the month.
And I would like to add that the president of that college is one of our own. What's his name?
Roderick Smothers.
Dr. Roderick Smother. And he's doing a beautiful job helping the students. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? All right, can I have a motion we exit?
Make a motion.
Motion made by Alderman Probst, here a second?
Second.
Second by Alderwoman Demi, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Do I hear a motion we adjourn?
Aye.
Motion made by Alderman Probst.
Yes, indeed.
Second? Second by Alderman Betts, all in favor say aye.
Aye.